All right, in this video, I want to talk to you about how to crypto proof your cash commissions. I'm using a different whiteboard here, just the Google drawing, so it might be a little laggy or whatever since I'm kind of learning how to use this as fast as I can think. But in this video, yeah, I want to talk to you about how to crypto proof your cash commissions and kind of some context on this. I'll just do like some brief history and what of money and all the different forms of money over the past like centuries and thousands of years, and kind of what I've seen and felt just based on my own pattern recognition. And I don't have all this like data and facts and charts and stuff to throw at you, but this is just something I've just from having a lot of time to like pause and think through the passive recurring commissions that I've been able to generate since 2017. It's allowed me to kind of pause, just see a lot of the news media data and kind of like see where things are going without having to be some kind of nerdy expert on it. And I want to share that information with you in this video and kind of what I feel is going to happen. I don't know exactly when, but I feel like it's definitely going to happen, and what I would be prepared for, not in like a freaked out panic mode, but kind of what I would, how I would be thinking about cash and how to use it in order to kind of future proof yourself and build a little bit of a cushion and a buffer for yourself when everything switches over. So, just like some base money history or whatever, and kind of what the different forms that it's changed into over the past centuries and stuff. So, we know gold, that's been around for a long time, or been around and used as like a means to exchange goods and services for a long time. It's been around for a very long time, but been used as like currency for a long time. Then we have like paper currency, fiat, and lots of different, this has been tried a lot of different ways. And then I'm going to go kind of backwards with gold because I guess before gold, there's probably like shells and all different kinds of things that were used as money. But that's kind of where, as we've progressed over the centuries, we've sort of refined this thing called money, which is just, it all represents the same thing, which is just a stored amount of energy that we all agree on, that we can exchange this for goods and services that are equivalent to that amount of like physical matter or whatever. And then from the paper currency, we kind of went into this like, I'm just going to call it like credit, credit cards, and kind of like digital in the sense of like, I don't know, just like pulling, I guess credit would be a good way to put it all. So like credit cards, lines of credit, loans, just like pulling from infinity essentially. And then kind of where we're at now, we've got crypto, and this has been kind of marinating for the last couple of years, or last decade plus or whatever. And this is the direction that I see everything going. And I think, and what that means, it's not just like do just like humming along and then we got like crypto. What I think that's going to do is going to, like, again, I don't know the greatest way to like illustrate all this as I'm talking or whatever, but this, or I can't even do it. There, yeah. This is going to kill this, because once everything kind of shifts over, or I think the way it's gonna be done, it might be kind of gradual, and then it's gonna like, which it still is, kind of hasn't been super widely adopted, but eventually it's gonna become more and more mainstream, and it's gonna be almost like as everything switches over, you're gonna be forced to change. I don't even think, I almost think this. fiat currency is going to be like outlawed because it's just inefficient. And again, I'm not like this blockchain nerd expert that's like can tell you all the technical reasons why that is. I just, the way I explain it is it's a more pure form of a representation of energy than physical currency or credit cards, and definitely of gold that doesn't like. I just heard, I think it was like Michael Saylor the other day talking about it in a different way of just like it's a way to preserve the, I guess, integrity of the energy of what it represents, and it can be exchanged back and forth over and over again, like globally without losing energy each time it's exchanged or something like that. But what does that kind of mean to you? How does that tie into like what I do, what I teach, what I'm known for with affiliate marketing and SEO and cash, as we know it? So, and how can you prepare for this? Because I don't know when this is all gonna, like the switch is gonna be flipped, but I feel like in the not too distant future, this is going to happen. And my solution for that is to not so much focus on making lots of money in the sense of like piles of cash, but rather creating streams of income and focusing on cash flow, because cash flow, there's always going to be the opportunity to convert that to whatever currency is the main currency. But if you've just got like a pile of cash, that can kind of dwindle away. So how I'm going to tie this all into like affiliate marketing and SEO and what I do and teach, I've got a course called SEO Affiliate Domination, which you can check out. And this is how I set myself free. It wasn't so much of like learning this skill, learning this recipe so that I could make a lump sum of money, like six figures once or seven figures once, and then like coast on that money until the rest of my life. It's more of building passive, recurring streams of income, promoting evergreen. Uh, I usually concentrate on evergreen, high ticket, or types of products, but more specifically like evergreen or recurring. Most important one being recurring, but if it's recurring and pretty evergreen, that's even better. The more high ticket, even better. But what that's going to do is that's going to basically create a digital annuity for yourself, or an affiliate annuity for yourself, to where you're putting in effort either once or for a period of time, and over time that effort is going to have this compound effect, because if you refer people to a product or service that has it's a subscription essentially, like if you got paid to refer people to like cell phone plans or Disney Plus or things like that, and you got a little commission for every person you referred. Well, since that's a subscription, and a lot of times services that they feel like they can't live without, it's really important to them, then they're going to stay subscribed. And as long as they stay subscribed, then you're going to get recurring commissions. And the more people you refer, your commission checks are going to continue to go up. And that's just going to ideally get bigger and bigger. And since those types of services are important to their lives, then very few of them are going to cancel, over time, and definitely very few of them are going to cancel all at once. So you're building a pretty stable, like evergreen, recurrent stream of income that's, I'll say, semi-passive. I mean, eventually you can get to the point where it can be 100% passive if you decide to take your foot off the accelerator. But if you do that, eventually over time, that income is going to go down, 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 down. It could go gradually, it could go a little bit faster, but you do need to have systems in place to keep putting in effort if you want that income to continue to grow. But I would focus on promoting products, using that approach, trying to find products and services that have some sort of recurring payout, whether they're like some kind of consumable product that's like a supplement, maybe that they take every single month or every couple of weeks, or some sort of software as a service. That's about as good as you can get, because a lot of the like Comcast or Disney Plus and stuff, some of those may not have referral programs, even though a lot of people are subscribed to them. But think in terms of that, and that way you can build this cash streams of cash flow, and then that can always be transferred to some degree to this crypto, because um, if all payouts eventually switch to like Bitcoin or whatever, and like they're like, sorry, we're not. I mean, they did this with checks. A lot years ago in the early days of internet marketing. It's like, how would you like to be paid out? A lot of places paid out through checks. That was more prominent than direct deposit. That wasn't even an option for a lot of affiliate networks and stuff. And then the PayPal solutions came out, and then the direct deposits, and then they eventually, like, it took them probably like way over a decade to get away from checks, even though that's just a different form of like different energy or whatever, or the representation of energy. And then you take that check and you cash it or whatever, or deposit it. But eventually they kind of pretty much almost phased out checks all the way. And I feel like that's going to happen over time with probably like the direct deposits. It may still, that may still be a thing, but it might be like direct deposit into like your crypto wallet or something. So hopefully you get what I'm saying. It's like, as long as you're building streams of income as opposed to big buckets of income, you can modify how that passive or recurring income gets paid out, or energy gets transferred to you. So instead of, like, I'm sure, yeah, if we had an affiliate program back 1,000 years ago, they would probably pay you in little pieces of gold or something. But we've got direct deposits and stuff now. But I see everything moving to crypto. Again, I don't know which one. I'm not, again, the expert in all crypto and stuff. I just see that I feel very strongly that this is all going to happen in the not too distant future, and a way that you can kind of future proof yourself to to kind of prepare for that, so that you're not caught off guard, and like with just like your little pile of money that you may be working towards saving, as and even that, it's like you want to ideally put that to work, because or put it into a vehicle to where it's protected, to where somebody can't just swoop in and take it and stuff. So look into vehicles for that. But again, if I had to pick one or the other, the way that money and the energy of money works, it's a lot better to have consistent cash flow than it is to just have a pile of money. Anybody that knows anything about like how money really works will tell you that same thing. That's how to future proof and kind of secure yourself in the best way possible, in the way that the whole banking system is set up and stuff, is just to work towards building streams of income that pay you recurring, whether that's your own products, that is like some sort of paid membership site or community or whatever, or again, if you're promoting different products and services as an affiliate, look for opportunities that pay you recurring, and then you can, that's going to give you like a cushion to not just breathe, to pay your expenses, but also give you a little bit more peace of mind each month, that hey, this amount's going to come in the next month and the next month and the next month. It's not like it doesn't create that same kind of scarcity, to where it's like, hey, you may have $100,000, but you don't necessarily know how long you need to stretch this for, because you don't, if you have a pile of money but you don't have any cash flow to me, that's a little bit more nerve wracking than having cash flow because, um, yeah, you don't know when necessarily more money is going to come in if you just do you have to live off that for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, how many years you have to stretch it. And then you've got some consistent expenses, those tend to go up, but then you've got expenses and stuff and those are kind of harder to plan for. So anyway, all that to say, this is coming. This is something I've kind of observed and kind of zoomed way out and could see this. This is something that I saw at least 5 years ago, um, and I just want to share this and bring it to as many people's attention as possible. I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard, and that are just kind of more in this cash credit system. And I think one day they're going to like look up and kind of be surprised and shocked and caught off guard because they didn't prepare in any way. And now there's this whole new system that they're like forced to adopt. And it's like they go from one slave system to another system that if you're not prepared for it, I feel like it's not freedom. I feel like it's more like tighter enslavement because this is going to be, man, this is just what I see. Again, can't defend this position from like a super technical standpoint, but I just remember like 10 years ago when the mainstream was talking about, oh, crypto and blockchain and stuff, it's going to be freedom and independence from the banks and institutions. And I've been in marketing long enough to know that that's not the truth. I was like, oh man, like anything that can be created by one man can be manipulated by another. So I think as they move everything over to more crypto, there's going to be more tracking and more control than ever before, so much so that you almost can't get away from it. And if and then like it's going to be very difficult to live outside of this world. Whereas like right now, we've got credit cards and loans and stuff, but like you can still kind of get by and navigate and move throughout this system as long as you've got like cash and stuff, and you can convert that cash to like load it up on a prepaid debit card and things like that, and then swipe it that way if places don't take cash. So you can kind of there's creative ways that you can kind of like still move throughout this system. But I think as things get more transferred to like crypto and stuff, there's going to be less and less wiggle room outside of that world. So I would just be preparing for that because I feel like that is definitely going to come, and it's going to, again, I don't know when it's going to be fully adopted in the mainstream and stuff, but it seems like they're kind of creeping along and putting things into place little by little. And I think one day people are going to wake up and it's just going to be, they're going to not even realize that they're going from like one cage to another cage. And so in order to be kind of above that and to be able to see from outside looking into that rather than being in the cage and not even realizing that you're in one, I would be moving towards this direction of finding recipes or solutions, methods of making money or pulling money from the world, or which is just being a conduit for more and more passing through you, and just kind of building these basically digital ATMs that pull money from the world into your bank account and stuff. And so, and once you have that, that can be over time, that can then be converted to whatever is the latest currency or whatever. It can be transferred or converted from cash or from digital like ones and zeros to this so-called like different cryptos and blockchains, and swapped out from different kinds of whatever cryptos like the Bitcoins and the Litecoins and whatever kind of coin you need or whatever. I guess those will be the new uh, currencies or whatever. So like Bitcoin would be maybe the equivalent of like the US dollar, and like Litecoin is like the whatever British pound or whatever. So it's just a different way of like representing stored energy. So nothing to be super afraid of, just something to kind of prepare for, and so that you won't be so caught off guard when it switches. So if you don't already have something that's working for yourself, that it's kind of like comfortable for you, it's in alignment with your personality or your schedule, I encourage you to check out my course, SEO Affiliate Domination. This is the process and the recipe that worked for me. It took me from making no more than $20,000 a year at a job before taxes to, in less than a year, crossing the six-figure mark. And because of the types of products I was promoting, which is what I recommend in this video, which are very evergreen, sticky products and services. There, in my case, it was a digital product software that a lot of people use to run their business. That paid me six figures for close to six figures a year for close to a decade. So, super long runway for very little effort. And this wasn't something that I had to like maintain year after year after year, because again, I just put a little bit of effort on the front end, and a lot of the people that I referred stuck around, and so they just continued to be subscribed, and every month that they continue to be subscribed, I got a check. And you can do the same thing. I'm not sharing that to be like, oh, you can't ever achieve this. A lot of my students have achieved the same results, even greater results, literally promoting the same offer using similar methods that I teach. So not only can these results be duplicated, they can be duplicated for this using the same method for the same product. So, and that can continue. That product is still around, so those results are still achievable today with the same offer. But there's tons of other offers. There's so much abundance, and there's so few people out there that know anything about affiliate marketing, know anything about SEO, and just don't have any kind of system, plan, recipe whatsoever. So just having a recipe that you can follow, that you have confidence in, that you can repeat over and over, and just do that, follow through, take effort, take action on that recipe consistently. It's gonna help you create a similar, I call it semi-passive stream of income that can really help you weather this transition that's going to happen. Again, I don't know the exact dates of when it's going to happen, but I think it's going to happen a lot sooner than most of us realize. I think people that are either ignoring this or are unaware of it, I think they're going to just kind of wake up one day, and it's just kind of like how you may have seen this at like the airports and stuff, like switch over to this real ID upgrade. You got to have your real ID. I think, that there's going to be more pushes for that, with pushing things towards crypto, and it'll all, like, the dust will eventually settle, and there will be a couple of main platforms and stuff to where basically the equivalent of like the Bank of Americas and the Chases and the Wells Fargos and stuff. They'll be the main places to buy, sell, exchange, hold, store your crypto and stuff. It's the same game over and over again. So I don't want to make it sound like it's like new, unique, different. It's just a different medium, but like it's the same. This is the same, like money and the energy of money is the same game over and over and over again. It's just in different forms, and so just it, you just like accept that or whatever, that it's like things are shifting, and then that's just a part of the way things work with like history and stuff. Like we've been in this era for several decades, but it seems that seems like a long time when you're in it. But like when you zoom out, like all of history, it's really just like a blip, a very small, short amount of time. Um, and so, yeah, just something to keep in mind, something to prepare for, and how that ties into what I do, what I teach, what I recommend for people is that I have a solution that is in alignment with this kind of philosophy, warning, whatever you want to call it, of how to future proof your or crypto proof your cash commissions. Because I think in, again, I don't know how long it'll be, 10, 20, 30 years. I think if you're just holding on to like US dollars, especially in like physical form or whatever, it's not gonna it's not gonna represent much longer what you think it represents. And so I would rather have you have a stream of energy coming into your bank account and into your life than a certain kind of currency, which is just like US dollars. Like that, even US dollars seems like it's changing, to like digital form and stuff. So just something to look out for. And yeah, just start kind of doing your research and preparing for on your own so you'll be ready. But if it's something that you weren't even aware of and you're like, you don't have a solution for some other stream of income in your life, this is a solution that can help you get started. That doesn't take a lot of time to go from newbie to proficient. It doesn't take a lot of money to start it up, and it doesn't take a lot of time to implement it and kind of start building those reps. I kind of compare it to going to the gym and lifting like a 10 or 20 or 10, 15 pound dumbbell every day. It's not really hard work, but if you do it over time consistently, then you're going to start to get a little bit toned and stuff. And same way with this, you're going to start to get a little bit of results if you stick with it and be consistent over a long period of time. And long is relevant. The average student starts to get some results within 3 to 6 months. Some people get results faster. Some people it takes a little bit longer, but the average is about 90 days to 6 months, or 90 days to 100 days. So, and then after that, it's not only just like some results. After that, the cool thing about this process is those results tend to compound. So it's kind of different than like paid traffic, where you got to keep putting money in to keep getting results. And if you ever stop, like 100% of your results stop. So it's quite a different process. So thanks so much for checking out this video. Hopefully you got some, value out of it, learned a little something. And yeah, check out SEO Affiliate Domination. If you're not familiar with it, you can click this button and it'll take you to a webinar presentation. It's free to watch, free to check out, and you can learn a little bit more about the system. See if it resonates with you, if it feels right for you, and if it is, then I know it can change your life. So thanks much for checking out this video and watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.